Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Azaliah bintu Abu Bakar and I'll be presenting papers titled Using Enterprise Architecture to Manage Income Tax Compliance Rate Issues in Malaysia. Tax is the fundamental aspects in country establishment, and there's no doubt that tax is really important for the country development. So there are many factors that affecting the tax compliance according to the country, and for this case we choose Malaysia because it says that Malaysia has the second lowest compared to other Asian country in the tax compliance. This is based on the data from OECD 2017. So there are studies from Faisal and Hasimi stated that if the tax system can provide an efficient and fast way of the tax return process, the tax compliance rate will significantly improve. So this study will look into those matters, and we will see how by using the enterprise architecture approach we shall assess those issues. Okay, because it says that the e-filing system shouldn't be just a passive transactional system, and it should be provided with the prediction and suggestion to the taxpayers for tax compliance. And also, if we can have the enterprise architecture approach, it will boost the performance of the tax management. But yet, all these 3 points have not been applied in Malaysia tax organization body. So we will look into this matter and suggest how we can incorporate EA into managing this Malaysia income tax compliance rate issues. Okay, let me introduce to you what is the enterprise architecture. So, enterprise architecture is actually the hierarchical approach for an organization to plan strategically in aligning the business and IT together. So, it combines the strategic, business, technology to achieve the vision and mission of the organization. So, there are many enterprise architecture frameworks available, and the top 4 is the ZECMAN, TOGAF, FEA, the Federated EA, and MyGov EA. So for this study, we shall use the MyGov EA, which is designed especially to the government agency, which is really suits with our case study for the Malaysian tax organization body. So let's look into what is the tax compliance. Okay, according to the brainwidth, it says that we can say it's tax compliant is the taxpayer need to report their income tax to the tax authority. Secondly, taxpayer need to report their income correctly and accurately. Thirdly, the taxpayer have to submit the tax return form within the stipulated period. And lastly, the taxpayer has to pay the correct amount of tax within the specific period. However, there are many factors in tax compliance rates as stated by these 2 studies, and also although there have been an effort to use the system to assist the tax collection, there are also issues in using the IT solution in paying the tax, such as not IT savvy, and then maybe the system is not user friendly, too complicated, and so on. So in this study, we shall look at the current process of how actually the tax compliance rates is being conducted in those organization body, and we will analyze the cause and effect factor why, although you already introduced the system, it's still having some issues, and we will propose some new idea or how the EA can actually helping to resolve this issue. To execute this process, okay, we already conducted the preliminary interview with the tax officer, and we are able to review the business process. So as the result, we are able to design the business layer and relationship between those layers. Okay, and then for the cause and effect, we use the fishbone diagram to understand the cause and effect further. And finally, as the output, which is never been before in the IRB, Inland Revenue Board Malaysia, the tax body in Malaysia, we produce their business diagram in the Archimate notation And also we produce the to be, some modification to the existing business process using the Archimate. This is all using the EA approach. Okay, let me show to you what we already done. This is the current as-is architecture of the Malaysian tax. Before that, I explained that we analyze the business process of those tax compliance. So we translate this process using the EA approach, and this is Archimate notation. We are able to identify the business rule, which is we put it in the writing in details, and then these are the functions that are related, and this is the existing function, how they conduct the tax e-filing process, and then this is the process of the approval, go to auditing, and so on. And from the business process, we are able to relate it to the data. What data are used to support all this process, and what are the related system? This diagram shows the notation for the system. So there are together 4 systems to support this tax e-filing. And what are the technology? So this is the server used currently. And based on the issues that they explained later, earlier on, we are able to propose some modification to ensure they are able to meet the higher tax compliance rate, which is the one that we add up is prior the tax authority checking and what we call it approve the process. There should be a new process here, new function, which is the taxpayer changes and the taxpayer asset. Because this means that we already acknowledge those taxpayer information earlier on, and we do also include other institutions. This is more on the checking to make sure what they submit to the IRB is also in line with the banking, with the institution that they work, to make sure the data is valid. Before this, there are no direct linking to other institutions. Okay, and then we do suggest that we should have a system for the tax return. Currently, we store it together in the tax system, but not a specific tax return. This is important because some tax return is not properly arranged. So that's why the amount that the taxpayer receives as a return may vary, and some are unable to be validated. This is the issue that the tax officer explained to us earlier. And also, we do suggest that they should have the risk profiling. Before this, all the risk calculation are being done here in the business process. So since we want to emphasize on the tax return and then to make the taxpayer happy, and also at the same time to ensure the system is secured, so we suggest that the risk profiling should be automatically be done and should be implemented in the IRB. So from there, we can have a better overall data layer of information to the taxpayer, especially when it comes to the tax compliance and the tax return. So both parties, the IRB and also the taxpayer, will be happy if we can comply to both needs. Okay. So for the proposed to be architecture, we would say that if they would like to propose the new ways of doing things, they should add this exchange of other external data, and then they need to improve the new business process, because eventually it will reduce time and effort for pre-filing. That's why we introduced the pre-filing data information as what I shown earlier. And if they can comply to this what we call it suggestion, it will improve the credibility and also the security. Okay, so as a conclusion, we would say that this study able to propose on the enhancement of the current tax return process, and if those tax compliance rate, okay, the tax agency can align the strategy and tax system again using the EA approach. They are able to see the issues clearly. And these are the tools, TOGAF, Ishikawa, Archimate, and MyGAF is the tools and method that we use to design the process, which also can be applied using in the real organization later. So as a conclusion, we would like to see if this evaluated model can be tested with the real data soon in the real business process. So with that, I end my presentation. Thank you.